born Elliot Bingham,
Perfect.
also known as Ozzy. That's a long name. And we're going to talk to him about his journey to, veganism, being healthy, losing weight, now raw veganism. And so, first of all, how you doing today, Ozzy?
I'm doing fantastic. Just got done with a client. I'm washing some sheets. I'm great.
To clarify, you're a massage therapist.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, because people are like, "What? Washing sheets?" And so, okay. So now, where are you? Where are you from? Where are you based?
I'm based in Rocky Mount, North Carolina.
Okay, very beautiful. And so now, please tell me, how did you become vegan? Like, did you have health issues in the past?
I did, being a typical guy, I didn't go to the doctor to get diagnosed, but I've always been pretty in tune with my body, being into fitness from an early age and going through like military school that made me get more fit. But to fast forward, um, my former best friend, she she put me on to a plant-based lifestyle because I was all about carnivorism. Meat, everything, chicken on your plate all the time. You got to get all this protein. Every
Right.
gram goes with the weight ratio. I was a meathead big time. But I started to, as the years went on, like this past 11, almost 12 years, as the years went on, maybe when I was about 25, 26, I started to get hip about, you know, eating to be healthy rather than eating just to consume calories and look a certain way. And
Mm-hmm.
that comes with its own like self-worth issues that was attached to that. Um, so I didn't feel right always having to take this supplement and that supplement, even if it was vitamins, vitamin C, vitamin K, whatever. It was like, can I get this from my food rather than having to take it in this pill or gel form? Because my family history, they all live out of Ziploc bags with orange bottles and white caps. And so that was psychologically bothering me. So anyway, um, tried Herbalife. I tried vegetarianism, and I was like, I didn't know how to cook. Everything was frozen packaged vegetables and hot sauce. Tabasco was my best friend,
Mm-hmm.
and then went back to it, but very low carb. And then I went and tried Herbalife. Herbalife was talking about we have more plant based supplements that are better for you, and I did feel my energy levels were better, and my aesthetic was better, and but it just didn't taste good at that time around like 2016, 2015. um but no shots against them. I know their formula is better now.
Was it
uh
like powders, like it's protein
yeah,
shakes and stuff? Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
So after Herbalife, I tried out keto because I entered a fitness competition with one of my good friends, Brian Sweet of Bull Sweet Fitness, and he wanted to promote his thing. So he had you get $100 for the best aesthetic transformation after 45 days, and you get $100 for losing the most weight. So 200 total. And I tried to get the double whammy. I got the weight loss. I lost like 26 pounds in those 45 days following the keto diet to the T. To
Wow.
the T. My macros was on point. I was working out twice a day, beast mode, and my energy levels felt good then as well, understanding the ketones and all that. But then I went to massage therapy school and I was coming off of keto and I did it totally the wrong way, gained all that weight back plus an extra 6 pounds. I was hurting.
Hmm.
But I excuse me for two
Oh
seconds.
yeah, I gotta do that too. Let me put my phone on do not disturb. Let
Yep,
me do that. Okay.
there we go. um so when I was taking a pathophysiology class, and it was talking about diseases. And one of the diseases it talked about was atherosclerosis. Not to be confused with arteriosclerosis, where that's like hardening of the arteries. Atherosclerosis is like when you've got this fatty, gunky waste in your bloodstream. So your blood starts to get to the consistency of almost like oily rather than running
Mm.
fluidly like water. And I was like, I'm living a lifestyle where I'm consuming high fat. And I know these aren't high fat plants. I'm eating chicken breasts and stuff. So I was like, I got to get off of this. Nothing was telling me with confidence that long term keto was the way to go, especially learning more about, eating for my blood type, understanding my lineage, coming from a place that is more plant based, fruit trees everywhere. So,
Yes.
and then the best friend, right? So while I was in school, she called me one day and said, "Hey, you should come to the house, man, and watch this interview. They're talking about, eating healthy and stuff. I think that's along the lines of what you're trying to get into. And it's so dope when you put, an intention and a prayer out there in the universe, God lines you right up. And I wasn't anywhere near spiritually inclined like I am now. I was very root chakra based, to say the least. So I watched this interview on YouTube on the Breakfast Club, and these three black health professionals coming, because we were also, pro black all the time. I'm not so anal about it now. It's just people to people. Everybody's beautiful in their own way. You just gotta take the time to recognize it. So we watched the interview, and they said every like your food is your medicine, and eat mostly plants, anti-inflammatory this, and I'm just like, oh, okay. And I'm understanding biology from the classes I'm taking and having my fitness background. I'm like, okay, I like where this is going. And I had never done a fast or a detox before that. The only one I really did was I was 12 years old, and for my church, we did a 3-day fast dry.
Mm.
But this time, an adult, I'm intentional about it, and I did their 7-day beginner's detox with the detox now. And it was an intermittent fast, like Ramadan schedule. You dry fast for the day. You can drink water if you need to, but you take your supplements throughout the day, 3 times a day. Lost like 12 pounds in those 7 days. And then I had eczema that would cover my torso like a tree in the front and the back, and it would go down my arms, but it was never itchy. And I had that since sixth grade. So now at this point, I'm 27 years old. And after those 7 days, the eczema turned into little freckles.
Wow.
Just that quick. It's turned to freckles. And then it had the life after the detox meal plan. So I followed that to the T for a whole month. Skin was perfectly smooth, no blemishes, no eczema. So I was like, oh shoot. And then I noticed that my performance in fitness was like skyrocketing through the roof. I wasn't getting sore anymore. Um, I was able to, do heavier weight for more reps, and I was able to go multiple rounds. I could take a break for like 3, 5 minutes, and I'd be ready to go for another couple of hours. And it was never like that. And I didn't have to take any type of like pre-workouts to get energized. Like I was getting energized off of the high fruit content that I was having with the berries and especially watermelon, because this was around uh May through August of
Wow.
2018. This shock to my system. And so yeah, every I turned into like a superhero. I called the health coach and I was like, yo, what's going on? Because this don't make no sense. I'm supposed to have the DOMS effect. Like I did my research. Like, why am I not getting sore? But I look better and I'm stronger, more flexible. I'm getting better sleep. People that I would, like have sleepovers or who was ever near me when I was asleep ever since third grade, because I was very obese in third grade. Uh Up until about seventh grade, but the snoring, I had sleep apnea so bad,
Mm.
and I would have nightmares of like getting strangled in my sleep. That's how bad it was. So now, after do a month in, people are telling me like, "Dude, you don't snore anymore. Like, if you do, it's really quiet, but like, you don't snore anywhere." Like my best friend Brandon, he would crack me up, tell me I sound like a chainsaw bear. It's crazy. But yeah, so
Wow.
that got better, and then the the big one that really set it in for me, like, yo, plants are life, and this is what you need to be on. So August 2018, 2 months into a raw vegan lifestyle with primarily fruit, and I was lifeguarding too, so I was getting 6 to 8 hours of sunlight every day, so I was on
Mm.
it. So I wear glasses now, but like August 2018 is about midday, and I have my Ray-Ban prescription sunglasses on. I paid like $300 for these Ray-Bans. They were smooth too. And I noticed that my vision was like blurry looking through the glasses. So I take them off, I wipe them off, I put them back on, and I'm like, oh my gosh, God, don't tell me I'm about to go blind. I'm not even 30 yet. Oh, this sucks. So when I take them back off and I blink a couple of times, I realize, oh snap, my vision's clear like I have my glasses on. So I put them
Whoa.
back on. You ever seen the Spider-Man movie with Tobey
Eh,
Maguire?
yeah.
So I was having that whole situation. I was like, ain't no way. So I got one of the patrons, um, and I was like, hey, I want you to give me a vision test. I want you to hold however many fingers you want up, and every time I get it right, I want you to back up a couple feet. So after like I think the seventh test, she probably was a good, I'd say 75, no, 50 to 50 to 60 yards away from me. And I was able to see her skinny little fingers from that
Whoa.
distance, clearly like I had glasses on. So I ran to the bathroom stall. I got on my knees and I was just like praying and giving thanks. I didn't want to weird nobody else. I was kind of quiet about it. I was like, God, I don't know what I did to deserve this, but thank you. I'm so appreciative. And this went on for 3 consecutive days and nights, having this clear vision. And
Wow.
I took it upon my fleshly self. I said, I want to reward myself. I've been so strict for 2 whole months. I want something salty, something fatty, something crunchy. I'm emotional right now. I'm feeling too good. So I went to Cookout, a fast food place popular over here. I got myself a cheese quesadilla, Cajun fries, a banana pudding flavored milkshake, and a large sweet tea. And the sweet teas down here are pretty big. Like your small is a large. It's crazy. And I ate all of that. The morning of the fourth day, my eyesight went back. It went backward.
Oh,
And that taught me real time. Your food
wow.
is legit your medicine. You got to focus on being as pure and as clean as possible. This is the way to go. And I've slipped up here and there because I had a very strong vegetarian kind of period, especially 2019, 2020. Gained weight back. I was in a different situation. And now I can look back at it and see like emotionally when I'm somewhere, my eating habits change. And
Wow.
yeah, man, it's been a beautiful journey. And this year I've tried my best to be as raw of a vegan as possible. I splurged a little bit this past weekend. I was in Miami, man. I looked back at your page and I was like, yo, I was upset, man. I would have loved to share the watermelon salad with you, man. That would have been
Yeah,
so dope.
absolutely. Next time you're in Miami. Now, I have so many questions. That's an amazing
Yeah.
story, and,
Thank you.
I think this is your first interview, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. With you, yeah.
Wow, I'm so honored. I'm so honored. So, wait, I have questions, because that was amazing. Now, do you remember, the 3 people on the Breakfast Club that inspired
Yeah.
you?
Yes. So it was Coach Jesse Thompson, who's actually my cousin through marriage, which is cool. That was a fun fact. And then at the time there was Dr. Amsu and Dr. Amun,
Mhm.
naturopathic doctors, and I know Dr. Amsu. He's an endocrinologist as well, knows his stuff. But he started his own thing now with Mr. Mike Breaks, and they have the Great Black Detox. But you look at him, you can see differences and similarities. But I know his stuff is potent because he also helped to create the program with the Detox Now. But those are the 3 people: Dr. Amsu, Dr. Amun, and Coach Jesse. But now for the Detox Now group, it's just Coach Jesse and Dr. Amun. They're like the 2 big faces of that organization.
Amazing. Okay, okay. And now I had a question about so when you first went let's talk about your raw vegan journey. I'm curious, did you like cuz you're a fit guy, did you lose weight? Did you lose muscles when going raw or eating mostly plants?
I did lose weight, but learning as the journey went on, because before I tried the raw vegan year this year, I like last year and the year before last, I was doing cycles of fruitarianism because I picked up this dope book, um, African Holistic Health by Dr. Laila Afrika.
Yeah, dude, that
And
book,
yo,
listen, this is a book that will change your life, guys. Dr. Layla Africa. Oh my gosh.
Rest
Yeah, I
in
have
peace.
multiple of his books, and this book is like the encyclopedia of health. And so yeah, I don't know where I got this book, but you can't really find it to like it's not in
Yeah.
Barnes and Noble, you know? So like check out that book, guys. Ooh, that's a book.
And I love
Continue.
it. Intrigued me to see the different types of diets. It was like, eat meat, and then you eat fruits and meat and veggies, and then you got vegan fruits and veggies, and then you got fruitarianism, and then liquiditarianism, and then breatharianism or breatharianism.
You're right.
Low key, I'm trying to get to that level. Like, I do believe that that's a thing. I just got to be, according to the book, you got to be in the optimal environment to breathe clean air all the time. But I don't see that being impossible at all because the mind is powerful. We can do anything we think of. And with the healing work that I do, I wanted to make sure I put a space in there. We ain't trying to talk about doo doo. Um,
Not yet. It's a vegan channel, so maybe. But yeah, with the work that you
yeah, with the work
do.
I do, it's getting way more spiritual and way more energetic. And that was a thing that happened for me with fasting and eating plants. So I did my second liquid fast with the detox now. And that second round, it was a 14-day water fast. There was like a spiritual awakening that happened. No kidding. And I couldn't like ignore it because when I would start to massage people, my fingers would feel funny. And I would feel like somebody's putting like a little those little pins that have the tens unit pins that give you
Mhm.
electrical impulse. I was feeling that when I would touch people, and I was getting like static shocked
Oh.
more often. I was like, I don't know what's going on, but okay. And then as I kept, because I do massage like every day, I really love what I do, and that is I'll leave that at that. I love massage. So then I started to feel like goosebump feeling go up my to my elbows, and as time went on and I'm eating healthier and healthier and just constantly cleansing and detoxing my body, like I was obsessed about it. Then it started to channel all the way down to my waist, and for a couple of people who were more like had more energy to really release, and these were people who I would see a pattern had more of a spiritual lifestyle and whatever they believed, but they did usually like yoga, meditation for sure. Like they were up there. And they would sometimes would hit me in a way where I would feel it channel from my hands, my head down to my knees. And and I noticed the cleaner I eat, the more I can feel that energy transfer through my body. And you can literally see my skin get goosebumps, and I was
Mm.
so glad to like know I wasn't crazy because I was blessed to have my mom and my stepdad come to my office when they visited. And I was like, Mom, watch this. So I'm working on my stepdad, and I could tell when the energy is moving. I say, see my look at my forearms. You see the good? She'd be like, oh my God, wow. But yeah, man, eating clean, definitely it's highly electric. And I can
Yes.
say that with confidence because that's all you're seeing happen when those goosebumps happen. The electricity that's being transferred in that energetic form, it's moving.
Absolutely. It's not something that I talk about often because people don't really bring it up, but you definitely are different than most people walking around. Really. And I'm not saying that to say that like some people are better than others. No, but we're feeling different things and we're clear. We're clean and it's important to understand that what you eat highly affects you spiritually as well and the energy and it's just like that's a very interesting subject because not a lot of people realize it. Okay? So like the fruit's not doing it. It's like what we don't eat that's doing it. It's what we are not putting in. And so that's something I would like to talk about more for sure. I want to talk to you about your profession. So you're a massage therapist and you love it. And I love to study people that are doing what they love and how they got to that point. Let me ask you this. When did you go to school for massage therapy?
I went to school August 2017.
Okay. And what were you doing before that?
Before that, I was lifeguarding and teaching swim lessons. I was probably in my seventh or eighth year of working at this pool in Wilson, North Carolina. And I had before I knew I wanted to be a massage therapist, I wanted to get into math teaching. I wanted to teach algebra for high school. But it's something to smile at now because that was a box that I was guided into,
Mm.
not knowing what I wanted to do. But but yeah, and I can tell you the origin story for that if you got time. Shoot, how I discovered I wanted to do massage.
Absolutely. Yeah, because people always, I'm fascinated by people living their purpose and doing what they love. Like we're supposed to be here on earth to do what we want to do, what we love to do. And that's part of our destiny. And so many people hate their jobs and hate their lives. So please tell us. Tell us how you started doing what you love.
Okay, you might want to get the stretch. It's gonna
You
take a
gotta
minute.
stretch in. You gotta stretch
Shoot.
in.
So so we had just moved to Philadelphia from New York. I was born in New York, and I was 14 years old, and I'll never forget. I was in gym class, and there was this Mandarin Chinese girl, pretty as I don't know what, just looking angry, and her name was Jiaxian Wu. God bless her. She's married now. She's
Good
happy.
memory. Good memory.
Yeah, man. And we were friends for a while. I was such a goody two shoes growing up. Like I tried to have a girlfriend at 12 years old. The next day when I told my parents, "Hey, I'm gonna go see my girlfriend at school." It wasn't even a boyfriend for 24 hours. It was like, "No, you're not. You're gonna tell her without breaking up." So I kept that with me. And so that kind of got on her nerves, Josh Shin's nerves, when she found out that I wasn't on the same frequency as far as our relationship.
Hmm.
Um, but it was like around Christmas time. We probably known each other for about 5, 6 months. And she came up behind me and started working on my traps. And like I just melted. I said, "Oh," and I still have more New Yorker in me. I was like, "Yo, man, you can't be doing that, son. Like, yo, that feel real good. Like, what is that though? Why?" She was like, "It's massage. Everybody, does it in my culture. That's what we do." And so I said, "Well, can you teach me how to do it?" She said, "Yeah." So, mind you, I'm 14, hormones raging. I go in, I'm like way too rough. She, ow, ow, Ozzy, you have to slow down. That's too hard. And like once I mess up on something, at least back then, I wanted to be done. Like I'm not trying to make another mistake, embarrass myself, or hurt anybody. And so I took that with me to high school. The genuine interest was still there. Like that seed was planted. And I think like 2005, that's when YouTube just got popping off with the old emblem, not the red, the white
Hmm.
triangle. And they had people doing massages on the YouTube. So I would, get into it, see how to do it. And then when I would go to school, I went to a like a magnet school that was more STEM, science and engineering, and we had a lot of computer classes. So when I would get my work done, and I didn't notice at the time, because again, goody two shoes, all we do is go to church, go to school. But I was a big flirt, and I would sneak up behind the girls that I knew and start like trying some techniques out on them, and they'd be like, "Oh, never mind. You can keep going. That feel kind of nice." So I would be able to get practice in that way. Like for me, genuine practice. All the other dudes was thinking other stuff. And like around the holidays, your teachers give you like a free period, so you don't really do nothing. You're just there to be out of trouble. And I would take a desk and I would make an announcement because I was able to go to the corner stores usually on the way to school, and I would get like a big bottle of cocoa butter lotion for like 99 cents. And I would say, anybody who wants forearm and hand massages, like, come sit down and let me practice on you. And the ladies loved it. All the dudes thought I was extra sweet. They was like nervous about it. And but
Yeah.
man, I got a lot of practice in that way. And then my former stepmother, she saw how interested I was in it, and she would let me work on her back. So with her, I got better with the back. And then after high school, I went to military school and didn't have that much free time. But
Mm.
like the first school I went to was the Naval Academy Preparatory School in Newport, Rhode Island. And on Fridays, after we'd be done with class, they had this break room called the ward room, real small, probably like, I don't know, 180 square feet. And I would take a chair out, a fold outed chair, and I say, anybody who wants their traps and their neck worked on, let me practice on you because I had a girlfriend at the time and I wanted my skills to get better to use on her, but like that never happened. Um, but I got really good with the neck up and the traps more. And then the following year, I couldn't do no massaging because I was a full on plebe at the Naval Academy in Annapolis for those 2 semesters. And went through that experience. I escaped. Nothing against the armed forces and what they do. Like, thank you all for your service, but it's definitely not for everybody. And
No.
that's okay. There was a guilt trip for a minute, but I realized that is okay. Um, so uh, so then after that, I had to figure out what to do with my life, and I was gonna go back to Philadelphia and live with my parents, but my dad was like, "Nah, don't come home." Like, we had certain dramas and stuff. He was like, "Don't come home. See if you can stay with your grandparents in North Carolina." And I called my grandma, and when she was still living, I said, "Nana, can I come stay down there with you?" She was like, "Oh, baby, of course you come down. We got the community college is 5 minutes down the road, and you can get you your license because I haven't driven yet, and I'm 20 years old at this time, never driven a car. Maybe in the parking lot, your parents let you do a little practice, but yeah. So I came to Rocky Mount where I would usually vacation on my leave, and now it was like paradise to me, man. Because living in the city, both of those cities, you appreciate the nature, the silence,
Yes.
to hear crickets instead of ambulance sirens, to smell
Right.
fresh air and morning dew in the morning versus cigarette and urine.
Yes, I can tell you're from New York. Yes.
Gosh, but
Cigarettes and urine. Mm.
and so then math teaching was still on my agenda. So, but massage was still like that hobby thing for me because I never took it seriously and I was kind of ignorant to it. Because in my mind, especially having received it a few years prior to getting to North Carolina, I had my first one at 18 years old. To me, I'm still thinking from what I see in the movies and TV shows, like this is just for rich people and for people who just want to get rubbed on with the fancy music. But I had a goal though when I came to North Carolina because I was newly single. My girlfriend had dumped me, and man, I wish I had somebody at the time to really be like my masculine mentor to be like, this is how you deal with your feelings. Because I
Mm.
took a good decade doing it not the best way. And so anyway, so my curriculum, and I used to pray about this in like middle school and high school because you see all the popular guys get all the pretty girls. And every time I would try to ask a girl out or something, they'd be like, no, no, thank you, but you a nice guy. I always got the nice guy thing. So I was like, you know what? I'm grown now. I'm single. I'm changing my life. I want to be a sexy man. And so I would work all week. I would go to school and I would do work study at school. And then I had a second job. I was always working 2 to 3 jobs. Um, and so, but on the weekends, I would go to the library at Books a Million and I would pick up, I made my own little thing. So I would get a men's health magazine so I could figure out the fitness and the nutrition to get my body right. And then I would get a GQ magazine so I knew how to dress. And I would pick up a massage therapy book. And it was mainly for my personal interest, but it came in handy on my dates. And before Amazon got popping off and they were just doing like books, I was on eBay. So eBay sold a massage table for like $100. So I got the table and like, man, for real, I could have gotten paid for the experiences I would provide. But and I was just giving all of that extra to the wrong people. But I would go on my date and I would study on like how to date. It's like, okay, this is how to read the body language and the facial expressions, and make sure you make them feel comfortable. Everything with y'all ladies is y'all just want to be comfortable and feel safe. It's really not that hard. When
Yes.
there's no hidden motives, like let's just have a good time. But so I studied up. We'd have a great date. Would be like a dinner and a movie or something. And then when we had privacy, I would to get the table out the trunk. I would already have the room set. There's rose petals everywhere, and I bring speakers because I come from a musical family, so I make sure I got subwoof bass everywhere I go. and I would have the music up loud enough so I could they'd be face down and I would turn the pages in my book and be like, how does that feel, baby? And they and they're just like, oh my god, it feels so good. So I got like a lot of practice over the years doing massage that way. And mind you, this is without any academic knowledge really. So I'm doing whatever I think and feel feels good to them rather than going in with a very targeted approach like, okay, we're going to work on the trapezius and we're going to work on the infraspinatus and blah blah blah. So I was definitely massaging from the heart. It was very genuine. And then my grandma, I graduated 2015 with my AA, and I was still just doing what I knew, lifeguarding, and I tried to substitute teach. I gave myself a test, and I said, okay, if I can substitute teach the rumored worst age group, which was middle school, and still love what I do, I think that'll let me know that I really love doing this. And man, it's like night and day when you're doing something because you think you should do it versus
Mm,
doing something because you know you want to do it. It's clear as day. So every time I went to go sub, my prayers and requests were always coming from a place of anxiety. I would, because school shootings was crazy, 2016, 2017.
mm.
So, I would always be praying, God, please don't let no shootouts happen. Please don't let anybody get in a fight. And, coming from an environment in my own academic career where, that was kind of common in Philly and New York, getting bullied and stuff. Those were my worries. But once I got to do massage, I would just the prayer is totally I'm blasting music. I'm like, God, thank you for today. I can't wait to touch whoever you have assigned for me to work on. It's about to be lit. It's gonna be great, yo. And the
Yeah.
environment's totally different. You're working with adults usually, and the focus is always we want to feel peaceful, relaxed, and better. Nothing anxiety. I don't ever worry about anybody trying to shoot me up in the treatment room. It's so
Yeah.
nice. So anyway, while I was doing that, I
And
was also
people
trying to.
are and people sorry to interrupt you,
No, you're
but,
good.
like, people are coming to you because they want to, like, in school, like, they have to, like, these kids don't even wanna be there, like, they're not learning anything no offense to all the teachers and stuff, but listen, they're not learning anything they're passionate about, they really wanna do, they have to go. So, anyway, that's,
Mhm.
like, an amazing thing too about what you do.
Thank you. And I'm almost done, I promise. So let's see. So like 2016, my dad was living in Atlanta. I was still here with granddad and grandma, and I would put my checks because they're being graceful with me, not having to pay rent or anything like that. So I would pay for my grandma to get monthly massages at the Garden Day Spa, and then I was like, well, I want granddad to do it too, and that way they can like do a bonding couples thing. They're seniors. Why not? And granddad wouldn't take the bait. He'd be like, I ain't gonna let no man put his hand on me. Nah, old school. And so I was like, okay. But then one day I said, well, granddad, if you're not gonna let me, give to you in that way, can I practice some massage on you then? And he said, I guess so. I changed your diapers. You can't surprise me too much. So, so I whipped the table out in the living room. We had direct TV at the time, so I went to the jazz channel, got the music, worked on grandma first, and she loved it. And then I worked on my granddad afterwards. So quick little profile about him. 6'2". At that time, he was probably just hitting 80, maybe 81. And had these big kielbasa sausage sized fingers because he was a body and fending man. He was a welder on cars. He could make a car from scratch from the junkyard.
Whoa.
Man of many talents. Was a bishop, everything. Um, so I'm doing my best. I'm dripping sweat. I'm trying my because this is a hard man. And but we get done after an hour. He gets up, and y'all about the same complexion. I still gotta like ask my mom like, who my real daddy, bro? 'Cause why am I so brown? You know what I'm saying? But I ain't mad at it. I like my melanin. So so he's like red from the neck up. His hands are all pink, and he just kept looking at his hands and going like this. And I said, "Well,
Wow.
how you feel, granddaddy?" I'm huffing and puffing. He was like, "Grandson, I feel wonderful. I haven't felt this okay, he from Virginia, he country. I was like, circulation? He's like, yeah, I haven't felt this circulation in my hands in over 20 years. You know, I was a body and fending man. And he can talk because, again, he was a bishop for many years. And, but him also having raised me a good 6 years of my childhood because my parents was going through divorce and stuff like that. Um, to have that second father figure verbally affirm, and validate a form of love that you have given. It was, excuse me, it was very heartfelt, and I had to excuse myself. And I went to my bedroom and I looked up at the ceiling and I said, God, if I can help people feel like this, if not better, every single day for the rest of my life, this is what I want to do. And then, like shortly, a couple months after that whole massage thing, my grandma got diagnosed with dementia, so I kind of put my dreams on hold. And but then Dad got wind of it in 2017, June or July, and he fulfilled his promise with excellence, man. He came from Atlanta and he took care of grandma until her last breath, man. And but when he came and was taking care of her, I was able to do my research, find the school, and it was at Pitt Community College when they had the program. I'm one of the last graduates of that massage therapy program, and we had Candace Fry, who is also now passed on to the next realm, and she had been in the game at least 20 years. She was in her early 60s. But man, ain't no education like a community college education, man. And I wish I had learned about it in high school, but everybody just pushes university, spend
Right.
a couple of G's. But I was able to pay for my massage program because it was so affordable. And that was still to this day the best academic experience in my entire academic career. I loved going to school every day to learn. And the fact when your teacher tells you your first homework assignment is to go get a free paid for massage, and then next week we're gonna be massaging each other twice a week. I was like, oh, what was I doing with my life? I was eating cheeseburgers, just low vibrational, stupid. Like, and then I get
Yes.
to eating plants, and my life gets better.
Yes. So now you offer, obviously, you offer massages. How can people contact you? How can people reach you?
They can definitely reach me in my DMs at Bingham Bodywork. I also have a Facebook page, working on the website, and once we figure out what you want, send you the link. And if you want me to come to Miami, set me up a party of at least six, because that's
Yeah,
that's a long ways.
you can book him for your party. Yes. Okay, and I'll leave your links below. I'll leave all the links below. And so what part of North Carolina?
Rocky Mount, North
Rocky
Carolina.
Mountain. Okay, guys, if you're in the Rocky Mountain, you gotta hit him up. You
No,
gotta
Mount,
check him.
Mount, not mountain, Mount.
Oh, Rocky Mount.
You're like mounting a horse.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. Sorry. I
it's
have
all good.
I'm not cultured. I'm not cultured. Like I had
No, no,
never been
you're
anywhere.
fine. I get that all the time.
But, yeah, I'm from New York. I stayed in New York for, like, 35 years. But, okay, so now that was amazing. That was a great story, and I just hope that there's a lot of people watching, and I hope that somebody that's watching needs to hear this because there's a lot of people out there that are just, like, hating their life, hating their job. They're not doing what the reason they hate it is because that's not what they're supposed to be doing. You're not supposed to hate what you do for a living. You're supposed to love it, and you see how he always had an interest, guys. Like, you already are doing what you're supposed to be getting paid to do. You gotta look at your life and see, like, what am I doing and how can I get paid to do that? And, yeah, that's amazing, so inspiring, and, okay, and let's just touch upon the diet real quick again. So
Yeah.
now, I'm curious, what do you eat in a day? What does your average day look like?
All right. When I'm on it, average day, I will fast until about 12. I try to push it to 3 now, but I'll have fruit first. I'll break it with fruit. In the summertime, now that it's finally starting to kick off, seeded watermelon, and I go in with the watermelon as my appetizer. I'll wait about 20, 25 minutes to try to follow the textbook. And then I'll have a mixed fruit salad. Usually, I'm a simple guy. So it's a whole dry pint of blueberries, um, about 2 to 3 Atalfo mangoes, and 30 to 50 red seeded grapes. And sometimes I might want to play with the recipes that were provided from the program. And I'll make a honey lemon dressing with grapeseed oil, half a cup of honey, half a cup of water, ground mustard powder, pink Himalayan sea salt. Uh, is there ginger root powder in there? Yeah, I think there's some ginger root powder. A quarter cup of diced red onion, and I personally like to add a quarter cup or a little more of hemp seeds. And I
Mm.
blend that all in the blender. And when you do it with the hemp seeds and you stick it in the fridge, it kind of gets thick, like a fluffy whip yogurt type of thing. And man, it melts on the salad, and you getting sweet, you getting salty, you getting crunchy. Oh my
Yes,
god!
yes,
My-
yes,
Yes,
yes. Now,
and
why do you break your fast with fruit?
I break it with fruit. That's what I've learned through the education. Fruit is light. It's not super heavy. And it's coming with, it's high mineral and vitamin content. And it's a great way to break a fast. Like if I were to break it with meat, my body's got to work extra hard, taking hours to days, but depending on the type of meat you eat, for it to go through the system to digest and then to exit out the body, you know. And when I was having heavy meat meals, I would get like lethargic shortly after, not knowing because I didn't have that knowledge. And it's like,
Mm.
oh, well, my body's working extra hard to eat this thing that doesn't really resonate with my natural genetics, as a human being. Meat is for
Yes,
animals usually, unless I'm like
yes.
an Eskimo, and I'm not Eskimo lineage. I don't have to eat, whale liver and stuff like that.
No.
But
Now,
yeah.
how do you do this socially then, Ozzy? How do you eat a healthy human diet socially? Because most of these humans walking around, they're not exactly health conscious.
Oh man. At one point, I was that vegan guy. And like I was trying to do it to the T. I'd bring my backpack, have my own avocado oil to put on my salad. I'd have the salt pepper grinders. Like, yo, this is why everybody look at me like, why don't you just live? And I'm like, yo, I feel great. I am living. What's wrong with you? Um
Yeah, yeah.
so yeah, I would do that and just ask the waiter because you ask and you shall receive. So there's nothing wrong with opening your mouth and say, hey, can you take this out? Can you add this in? So I would do it that way. At family functions, especially when your family doesn't see you for a while, I just gotta use my throat chakra and vocalize, what my needs are and what my priorities are. Because there was a Christmas dinner 2 years ago where like my aunt she made all this food, and it smelled delicious. I'm never going to deny that all that food tastes great,
Absolutely.
but I had to learn, with the education and the guidance and the journey. It's like your taste buds, that's like a temporary thing, but your longevity and your health, that's a whole nother thing. And to go through that whole questionnaire of like, is what I'm about to put in my body best for me? And if you have to say no at any of that, then and you still eat it, then now you got to acknowledge that there's a disconnect going on, an imbalance going on in your body. Probably might be parasites, something like that, an emotional disorder. And you gotta do that shadow work to really check in, man. There's been so many nights where I would drive home after doing a massage, and doing 8, 9 massages in a day, you get hungry, and I want something
Whoa.
quick, and I'm not meal prepping like that. So I might go get a bag of chips, or I might get French fried potatoes, and it would mess me up. But as again, the more I kept like fasting and praying, even though it was primarily off of I want to do this for nutrition, it turned spiritual, and then the awareness and the consciousness started to kick in. It was like, you really don't need that. Like, are you really hungry? You've gone 2 weeks without solid food. You can drink some water and make it home. You'll be all right. So those type of conversations you have with yourself, and you start to build your character and like that callus of discipline. But the discipline is a practice and a form of self-love. When you do your disciplines, you loving yourself. People might say, "Oh, you're denying yourself and you're starving." Oh, I can't stand that. You're starving. But then they start to shut up when they see how big my bowls are. You know, start to get on that
Yes.
fully raw Christina vibe. She be having
Yes,
some
yes.
big.
Yes. Now, okay, I have a feeling that there has been questions and comments, but YouTube won't let me see them anymore. I don't know why. I gotta get off YouTube. I can't. I don't understand what is going on, but I have a feeling there were comments and questions, but I cannot see them. And I was like, wow, that's weird that nobody's commenting. I bet you there are. I bet you there are. But
I saw
YouTube won't let me
comments.
see them. I can't see anything.
Let me see. Is there an icon where you can press the comment
Oh,
icon?
here, I'll put him back on. Let's see. Do you see any comments or questions?
Not right
So,
now. But if I press the comment button, I can look at the live chat. All messages are visible. Okay, now I can see everybody's comment.
oh wow. That's not fair.
Is
What
it
did
on your
I do,
phone?
YouTube? No, it doesn't work for me. I don't know.
You should have an icon maybe on like the top right. There should be a refresh, the three dots, and there's like a comment box icon.
Yeah, so when I click it, I'm clicking top chat, I don't see anything. I
No,
click
click live
live
chat.
chat, I don't see nothing. Yeah, it's YouTube has done something. I did something to YouTube. I said something I shouldn't have said or something. But I don't know. They took away this option for me. But if you see any questions or anything you'd like to answer, definitely answer. And I wanted to say, oh, I forgot what I was going to ask you. I wanted to say because well, yeah, that's important to note that, you're working a lot, so you're gonna need, significant calories and stuff. And so what does a lunch and dinner look like for you? I'm just
Right, so
curious.
the lunch again is those big mixed salads. Um,
Mhm.
this year I've tried to do more mono mealing, which is interesting, but I think I got to go back to mixing it up and seeing all those colors because that does like a visual chakra color therapy for you as well. Um, so yeah, that'll be lunch. In between lunch and dinner, I will I might snack on like some nuts, and then dinner was usually, and I'm going back to a green salad, and that would be either romaine or arugula lettuce. But now I've learned about some other greens that I like that give me that type of flavor. There's a farmer I work with, Lake Valley Farms here in Tarboro, and he gave me a bunch of radish microgreens. Gave me the hookup.
Oh,
So,
they're so
I,
good.
so I might
Yeah.
do that. Definitely put a green avocado or two up in there, hemp seeds, maybe some slices of aroma tomato or grape tomatoes, and I like it to be crunchy, so I'll add in walnuts, black walnuts or Brazil nuts. But yeah, nuts, avocado, the greens, and then the dressing. Trying to do this year as raw as I can. I try to even not mess with oils like that because there's people I follow. They talk about the pros and cons of oil rather than eating the whole avocado and getting the oil that way and the fiber. Because what they say, when you isolate anything from like your food, you turn it into a drug essentially. So at least that's what I've
Oh.
heard and that's what I've learned. So it's like, yo, and it makes sense when you it's like, okay, that's a holistic thing. So why would I not eat the food whole? Why I gotta just
Yeah,
force this out of this living plant to be like, yeah, I don't care about the rest of you. Give me that. And
right.
you try to connect that with like your relationships. She's like, yeah, you my friend and everything, but all I want is like your attention, and then I'm gonna get what I need from you, and I'm gonna bounce. It's like, no, I need to have a holistic relationship, even with people in my life. It's like, check in, how you doing mentally, spiritually, emotionally, rather than like what you doing, and can I borrow $5?
Mm,
That's a
good
toxic
metaphor.
relationship.
Mhm.
But yeah, so those are my meals. Drinking water. I'm more into juice now, man. I got me a little $70 juicer. I'm hoping to win a sweepstakes to get a Vitamix, man.
Yes.
Cause all y'all use the Vitamix. I consider you a pro, man. You over here with a huge following. So I'm like, yo, she got a Vitamix. They got the Vitamix. I need a Vitamix.
Yeah, the
So
vitamins gonna change the game. That's gonna change the game.
we
You're gonna get it. You're gonna get it. This is what I was gonna ask you, and this will be the last question. Unless anybody else has questions, which I can't see. I don't know. I don't know what is YouTube's problem, but my question, because you said a great point. You were like, well, you went over to a Christmas dinner and everything looked good and smelled good. And like, that's going to happen forever. Like, it's always that old food that we used to eat. That's always going to smell good. It's always going to look good. So, now what is some advice that you can tell people? Because, people want to stay on the path, but like, once you start, it's a slippery slope. You have one meal that's like the old stuff, and then that's what you want the next day and the next day and the next day. So what is some advice you can give to people, Ozzy, to help them to not take that first bite, to not give in to those cravings of the foods that smell good and look good and taste good? What do you say? But it's unhealthy.
okay. So I can only speak from experience.
Yes.
Um, for me, the fasting was a huge component because it put me on a narrow path to stick to these guidelines, especially when you start adding a financial investment in it. It's like you don't want to like waste your money, you know. So
Yes.
always fasting, because then that takes you away from. Because I think they say, at least I think from the Bible, it says like when you deny the flesh, you feed the spirit. So,
Mm.
me going on fasting, I was feeding my spirit, which was having me tune into my body and seeing when I wanted to like eat something that wasn't best for me. So that practice of doing that often, that helped to reconfigure my thought process and had me like, oh, wait a minute, why do I want to do this? Do I need to do this? Is this the best thing for me? And getting more spiritual, I'm always trying to think, okay, I want God to use me. I want to work with his angels. And why would they want to come work in a dirty temple that's constantly constipated and smelling funky and getting lethargic? It's like, yo, you got holy work for me to do. I need to have energy. So that was on my mind. This is for my a purpose that's greater than me. I'm doing this not only for myself to love myself, but I'm doing this so I can do, some work. Um Meal prepping in advance when you can, especially like at family functions. Thanksgiving, I was able to cook a whole vegan set. Well, my best, but she the cook. I ain't gonna take her credit. She could throw down. So, we bring our vegan spread, and then people want to eat up all the vegan food anyway.
Always.
Trifling.
Always. And the fruit,
Trifling.
you bring like delicious fruit. Everybody wants some. It's like, no, why don't you eat your nasty food?
Exactly,
Yeah,
right.
I know the deal.
And it's the best feeling. I did that for like the first Thanksgiving. We made barbecue jackfruit ribs, um, a couple of other different type of jackfruit. One was curry, one was like a teriyaki Asian base. We had a cauliflower steak, like cabbage steak. We went in, and I drove all the way to DC because there was this vegan restaurant I got in touch with, and they blew my mind with their vegan chicken wings. Had like the stick as the drumstick. I drove all the way to pick up like a $60-$70 order. It was so worth it. Everybody was like, "Yo, what is that?" And I brought like tropical fruit too. Just being healthy comes with big energy, and it's so magnetic. People like, "Yo, what you on, man? Like, let me see what that smell like real quick." So man, I'm teaching people about yellow dragon fruit and red dragon. They're like, oh wow, oh wow.
Yeah.
Whole time, I'm just going with the flow of what I'm learning at the time. And they think I'm a doggone professional about it. It's like, yo, can you come to my aunt said, can you come to the church and like talk about healthy stuff? I was like, I think I gotta get like training and a certificate first, man. I can't just I don't know. I was nervous. But now I see that's God showing me like this is my lane and
Yes,
go ahead and get into this. But meal prep,
absolutely.
fast and pray often, like really try to develop your spirituality in whatever lane that is. My base is with Christianity, whatever works for you. Because there's multiple ways to figure out a math problem. So, with something as big as God, there's got to be multiple ways to seek the truth and, check it
Yes.
out on your journey.
Yes, I would agree. I would say those two things that you said, well, basically, make it bigger than you. It's bigger than you, honestly. It really is. Like being healthy is not just about you. It's about your spirituality and inspiring other people, helping other people. And also just like, yeah, don't get upset when you bring healthy food and everybody wants some. Cause honestly, the truth is everybody wants to be healthy, but I feel like nobody knows where to start, and like nobody knows like, yeah, there's some amazing tasting fruit out there, but nobody knows where to get it or how to know when it's ripe or like how to eat it. And so that's why people like you and me, like don't I get upset sometimes when I bring, like, all this food and, like, people want it and, they don't have food for me, but I have food for them. But at the same time, it's like that's what we're supposed to do, because people don't know how to be healthy. Everybody wants to. Everybody wants to be healthy, right? Like, I don't think
Right.
anybody on this earth wants to be sick and have disease and have x-rays and operations and surgeries and prescription pills and all these issues. Nobody. So like, yeah, everybody that is watching, please do me a favor and leave a thumbs up if you are also that light worker in your family, in your community that is like, always bringing fruit or always bringing some healthy food wherever you go and people want it and you're like, "Oh, this is my food." But like, you got to do it. You got to do it. So, okay, Ozzy, thank you so much. This has been
Welcome
awesome.
so much.
Thank you. You are amazing. I love your story. I love your passion. I love that you're doing what you were born to do, which is help people to be healthier, to feel better, massaging people, which like I could talk to you forever about massage because I get a massage every 2 weeks. It is literally like a non-negotiable in my life because I work out every day and I cannot live without massage. It's a big part of my healthy journey. Seriously, it is so necessary for people. And Ozzy, there's people out there that have never had a massage.
Oh my gosh, I love breaking that, popping that for them, man. Oh my gosh, it's the best. And they'll
Some
be
of my
like 50 years
clients
old, never had been touched by another man.
some of my clients have never had massages. And yeah, they're in their 40s, 50s, 60s and I'm just like, "Oh my god, you don't know how good you're supposed to feel. You don't know." And so, yeah, if anybody's in, your area, click the link below. Follow him on Instagram. I'll leave his Facebook as well, and please follow him for me because, if you don't follow him, I'll block you on mine, so you can't follow me or him. How about that? And, thank you very much. I really appreciate you. Have a beautiful day, and before we go, I just wanna say to everyone, my Misfit Monday starts on Monday, May 1st. If you're interested in joining a community of like minded people, you can come join me 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Monday. I'll leave some information below about it. And thank you very much for watching. Ozzy, thanks for being you. And I'll see you in the next video, guys. Thank you very much.
Bye bye.
Bye. Bye, Ozzy.